So one of the things we're going to do, you can see I'm going down to my Microsoft GCP console now, and we're trying to first of all set up the environment to run Nmap. In order for us to do that, I'm going to install my domain controller, I'm going to set up an FTP server, and I'm going to set up a LAMP, which is going to give me my Apache web front, the local database in the back end. So quickly go over here and I can take a look at what system I have, or VM. So I'm going to go ahead and create a domain controller. I'll call this one DC. Give this to VM here. And really going to put it in IOR. Now you can put this in any zone you want. And I'm going to come over here and do this to be 2012 server, data center, select, go to create, and after that I'm going to go to marketplace. And from the marketplace, remember what I showed you guys last time? I said install your LAMP stack. And you can see how easy it is to install some of those stuff. Just go ahead and launch it. I don't have to do any much configuration for these because it's like a container. It's already there for me. Now, one thing that I need to pay extra attention to was because I already have a system that I had set up before, and I have my a special network. I don't want them to be in a special network, so I'm going to redo one of them. So this is my FTP. I'm going to install this FileZilla, launch the engine here, and of course I want it in the default, and you can see how many ports is open already by default because of that container. I'm going to kill this lamp here, and the reason I'm killing it is because I accidentally installed it on a separate network. So I'm going to go to my marketplace again, and here's the lamp stack here. And I'm going to put it in the default subnet here and go to and there are several resources on the net that I would strongly recommend that you review. I'll show you one of them over here, which is an Nmap tutorial here. It gives you some cheat sheet that I think you want to explore on your own. And it kind of just shows you an example of some of the stuff that we're doing earlier, or that we'll probably still do a little bit later. So you could just kind of take a look at them, and it will give you an idea of, you know, exactly what it is that you're trying to do. We're going to run this all a little bit later, but there you have it. You can see the firewall evasion techniques. One of the things that, and I know I'm probably telling you a little bit too much ahead of time already, is that you will be required to run some of these scans, and I will expect you to be able to tell me how are they different from one to another a little bit later. So go back here and look at my system here. So go to set my Windows password here. Copy, close, RDP. I'm going to download the third party here. Just going to put this on the desktop. And again here, I'm quickly spinning up my Windows 2012 server, and I'm going to quickly install domain controller on it. And that's about the only thing I'm going to do here. Remember, as I've told you guys in the class before, because we're going to use Internet Explorer a little bit early on, I like to disable these. You know, disable these security features. Select on and put off, and select OK. So come over here and go to Google. I like to download Wireshark. Remember, that's one of the things that we did in the class last week. But if you try to download Wireshark without disabling that Internet Explorer enhanced security, it's going to give you some problem down the road. And I'm going to go ahead and install Wireshark on here. Mind you, I'm doing quite a lot of things together at the same time here. You can always take your time. While that one is going, I'm going to go ahead and install my domain controller. And this is domain service. Go to next, install. Again, remember these two are in two independent stuff. You know, I'm just taking the opportunity to do them all at the same time. Alright, so this is finished installing, and I'm going to go ahead and configure. Anytime you see this, you know, caution sign over here, means your work is not done. So right over here, last week I called this Pizza, I'm going to call this Peas today. Peas.org. Again, I'm setting up, creating a new domain. And I have to set a password, capital P at SW0RD, capital P at SW0RD. You can use any password that works for you here. Go to next here. So that's my domain name. And then you see this red. Now I showed you guys how to solve this problem. Now you can have it on video for posterity. Come over here to computer management here, and you select local user here. See, the reason is because one of the account here has no password, it's blank. And you cannot install a domain controller on the system with a blank password, so I'm going to come over here. Click OK. Password set. Okay. Go back here. Go to previous. Go to next. You can see this is done now. When I click this and click OK, this guy is going to need to restart itself. Alright, and that's just normally going to take its course. So you can minimize this screen now. You can see it's gone. You can give it like a minute and then it's going to be back up and you'll be good to go. I'm going to do Ubuntu. Yeah, I'm going to change the zone and I'm going to put it over here. Again, just so you know, there's nothing wrong. You can scan across other zone as well. It's just that for our purposes over here, I want us to have everything within the same zone. You understand? I'm going to do this all over again. We have done it before, but we're going to do it again. Sudo Alright, so this is fun. Now pay extra attention to this. This is in your exam. Alright? You want to pay extra attention to this. I know my domain area is 10.128.0, so I'm going to scan the entire subnet 10.128.0.0/24. This is going to scan the entire subnet. It's going to ask for privilege, which is fine. I'm going to type sudo bang bang is the same thing as, prepending the previous command with sudo. Now it's running. Now, what is one thing you need to know about this SS? It's very, very important you remember, this allows me to scan the remote host or website without detection at the other end. Okay? Without detection at the other hand. Recording again, and you can just see what we did over here. We ran this thing, and then, number one, it detected this machine, right? It detected machine 10.128.0.11 and sees all the ports on it. And this is our domain controller, right? And then it detected another machine over here, and it said that machine is FTP, and so on and so forth. Then another one over here, and then another one on here. So that's really what this machine actually does for us. I can say this is an FTP, SSH, secure shell server. This looks like a DNS, and this DNS mostly is from, GCP itself. I have another SSH over here, another FTP server here, and a domain controller over here. You understand what I'm saying? Now, the next thing I'm going to have you do when it comes to your turn is I'm actually going to have you go over back to your domain controller here. But before you do that, you go and reset your password. So you go to password here, and you said set password. We're going to try and copy the password now. And remember, though, that you want to actually log on to your domain controller now. That's what I would do if I were you. You don't have to, but better you do that, right? So one of the things I'm going to do, you don't need to set the password here because you already have a password that you know. However, if you don't want to do that, you can go ahead and set your password here and use the password here, copy it, and then I'm going to launch my RDP. We already have one, but go ahead and download another one if you want to. See, that's the one we had earlier on over here. If you want another one, knock yourself out. And then I'm going to open this. Yeah. So we have 3 minutes left. We intend to use our time. We're not going to allow ourselves to be intimidated by anybody to drag us out of here. 3 minutes on the clock, and that's 90 seconds by my calculation. We intend to use it. So here's what I want you guys to do now on your own, and this is something that I will strongly ask you to do because since your final, midterm lab, I'm going to ask you guys over here, come over here now, so you are aware that you've detected all these machines, right? And this machine here, your domain controller. Now, I would say now scan this domain controller exclusively while you connect, traffic. My machine here is taking a long time to load up to Windows for some reason. All right, there you go, finally. So remember that we installed Wireshark on this place earlier. What I want you guys to do, open this Wireshark. This is 11. So you're going to run this thing again. Now, instead of doing this now, you're going to do this. You see that? You got it? So I'm essentially targeting, this domain controller now. But before you do that, I want you to start a listener on this domain controller. All right? There's a video of this thing posted on YouTube channel, so you can go and grab it later when you get a chance. Okay? So here is my guy here. I'm going to start my listener on it. All right? And then go ahead and start this Nmap here. And then look here now. You can begin to see a lot of activity, right? You see that? You see? You are capturing what is going on this other hand. You can see that guy sending a SYN packet. And once this is done, now this is done now, so you go back here and stop this guy. Now this is what you will analyze. And as always, you can easily see that it's predictably doing what we thought it would do. Here is our bad guy, you know, sending all kinds of packet to this remote machine. Now go back up here so you could just kind of take a look at it. All right. Remember, the machine in question that we have over here is ifconfig, which is 14. So I can look for every traffic coming from 14 over here. And we're wrapping this up now shortly now, because the next class is started already. I'm going to prepare a filter, and I'm going to say IP address, .128.0.14. You can see what this guy is doing. He's just sending SYN. And as soon as the poor guy responded back with a SYN hack, you see that? What does he do? He tore it down. This guy sent a 3 SYN hack back here, and you can see the adversary tearing it down right away because he's trying to avoid detection. You understand? All right, so this is one example, and I'm going to put this on the video. I want you to go ahead and practice for this other type of scanning. I will ask you to run maybe 2 or 3 of these in your midterm lab, and I'm going to ask you to tell me the difference between them. You understand? All right, thank you guys.